All right, guys, I want to do one more review, and it's on these Black Path rigid struts. These are 10 inches, and they are on my 2009 Sportster Nightster. I'm pretty sure they would fit either any type of Sportster. The tools you'll need for this is T50 Torx Bit, and I believe it's a 3/4 wrench. You can just get an adjustable, if anything, and it's only going to be needed right here in the back for the bottom one. It's a pretty simple process. I mean, I would recommend a lift if you have one, but I mean, I personally didn't need it. These Nightsters come with 11-inch shocks, maybe 11.5. I'm not really sure, but they're pretty low. I was able to take one off, and all I did was basically push down on the rear, and they fit in perfectly. Once you put in one, you take off the next shock, and it just makes it that much more easier. They are, again, they are Black Path racing rigid struts. They're 10-inch. I bought them off Amazon for about 35 bucks. I think it might have been 40. Overall, they're pretty cheap. I was looking for some 10.5 or 10-inch shocks, some slammers, but I mean, for the price, it was pretty expensive. I didn't want to spend a little bit over 200 bucks. So I figured, let me go with the rigid struts. It's gonna drop the rear, which you can see in the back. It was about an inch and a half, maybe 2. It really depends what kind of shocks you have. As for the ride, it's rigid. So I mean, it's stiff. It's not that big of a deal because I eventually wanted to move into a hardtail, and this is the perfect way to find out if I can actually handle a hardtail. And I mean, it's not that big of a deal, guys. Honestly, it's a little stiff, but it's very, very handleable. It's not too rough where you're hurting. Of course, if you hit a bump, whether it's on these rigid struts or the shocks, I mean, let's be honest, the Harley shocks weren't the best. I've heard the newer ones are a little better, but at least for the 2009 Sportster, they're kind of crappy. You'd bottom out pretty good, and you'd feel the pain. The only place where you will feel the big difference is when you're basically sitting on it. You can adjust when you're in a red light, moving around, and you'll feel the rear shock. Not anymore. It's just rigid, and it's not that bad, guys. I would recommend drop the air pressure, maybe 25, 27, 30. I've heard up to 20. I'm not going that low. Right now I have them at 27 pounds in the back, and it feels good. I mean, I had it at 35, I believe, prior to the rigid struts, and that was a little rough. But I mean, again, it's nothing you can't handle. Keep in mind, I have the Lepera bare bones, so it's pretty comfortable. Yeah, if you have the stock seated, it might be a little harder. Once again, it's not that big of a deal. You can try and go for a Springer seat. I personally am not a big fan of them, so I went with just what I have. I am eventually thinking of cutting as much as I can, but for the time being, I think it looks pretty good. Again, these are the 10-inch rigid struts from Black Path. You can find them on Amazon. I'll put the link down below. You can purchase them. If you have any questions, guys, let me know. Again, all tools you need is a T50 Torx Bit and a 3/4 wrench. You can get an adjustable one. But as for the process itself, it's very simple. These are really good. I'm gonna review these. They are pretty rigid. I've seen some other ones who are maybe a little better built. I give these a 4 out of 5, if anything, because of that. I'd honestly go for 5, but I've seen much better built ones. I think the ones that I saw were from Lick Cycles. So but it's a good option if you guys have ever thought about getting a rigid rear. These are pretty good price, pretty good built, and very, very, very simple to put on. All right, guys, take it easy.